a contact standpoint.
Sorry, I just decided I forgot to record. If you can approve that, I'd appreciate it.
So I'm gonna bring up our current protocols, and I'm gonna lose sight of some people. So just feel free if you have questions, just stop me and let me know. Um, in general, you may have seen these protocols before, and we revise them after every COVID task force meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, the 25th. And my guess is there'll be another one the second week of February. We're trying to meet more often because things are changing so quickly. Um, the current positivity rate in Miami-Dade County as of yesterday was 28.5%, and that's down from 35. So we're actually starting to see some of that downward movement that people have talked about, and it's coming down relatively quickly. It's coming down pretty much 1 or 2% per day. So hopefully we've seen the peak, and it's now going to decrease as quickly as it increased. But and again, I can only tell you how it stands as of today. So I know most of the events are in February and March, and things will change from then, and we'll definitely get you revised protocols. But as it stands right now, our limit at services are 120 people, and that includes photographers and it's outside your immediate family, so it's guests and photographers. So you know, parents, siblings don't count in that number. Clergy and staff don't count in that number. So you can have 120 guests for the most part. What we are requiring now, at least for the immediate future, is proof of vaccination. So either somebody would be at the door. If you wanted us to do it, we would be at the front gate asking, and we'll ask you to let your guests know that we are now requiring this proof. So if they could bring a copy of their vaccine card, it could be a picture of the vaccine card, something like that, so we can prove the vaccination status would be great. Um, if they're not vaccinated, we would ask that they provide a negative PCR test taken within 72 hours. So a guess would be an or. So it's either vaccine or a negative PCR test. For the service itself, there's a part of the service where the parent and or the B'nai Mitzvah can be unmasked, and that's for the Torah service, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cantor, for the speeches and the Torah service. In order for that to happen, whoever's going to be unmasked has to provide proof of vaccine and a negative PCR test taken within 72 hours. So if you want to be unmasked during the service, it's and. If you're attending the service, it's an or. And we ask that everybody remain masked throughout the service while they're on the temple property. Right now, if you are having a function at the temple, we've limited the number of people at the function to 75, and the function has to be outdoors. We don't make a provision for indoors. Now, again, this is when the numbers were 35%. As the numbers go down, it increases. Historically, when it gets under 15%, you can have 120 people. When it's under 10%, it's 180 people. When it's under 5%, you could have whatever the capacity of the room is. So we have provisions in place as the numbers go down. They're part of our standard protocols, but it gets very confusing if I were just to send you all the protocols. So I try to keep it just to what's current right now as we're speaking. And again, on the 25th, we will absolutely probably revise these numbers, or if the task force allows us to revise the numbers, we'll revise them, and Scott will send you revised protocols. In terms of photography, it's what we had done before. You can take pictures in the sanctuary before or after. You can be unmasked on the bima as long as you're off the bima within 30 minutes of the service. So if your service starts at 10:30 or 10 o'clock, we ask that you be off the bima by 9:30 so they can just clean it up before the clergy comes in. Same thing, we ask you to kind of pick up relatively quickly afterward, but we'll arrange for you to have time after the service as well to take pictures. So
Can I just say, so that
yeah.
means that the half an hour before the masks are all back on, we don't want to walk into the sanctuary and with people unmasked.
Sorry, correct. And then it also just gives the maintenance time to come in and wipe everything down again. You know, these are relative. I want to say they're crazy times, but it just seems like they're more normal now than crazy. It was crazy 2 years ago. Those are the general protocols. After the meeting, Scott will send these out to you, and then, like I said, we meet again next Tuesday, and then probably 2 weeks after that, and we'll just continually update and send them out immediately after the meetings. And if there's ever any questions, please call me, email me. You know, I'm at the temple. More than happy to give you my cell phone number. Feel free to reach out, and I can address any of your questions. And again, my focus is more on the protocol side. If you have a specific question about the service itself, that would go to Cantor or Scott. So right now we're not allowing a kiddush, but again, as the numbers change, that will change as well.
Can I ask how long the service is with the reduction in honors and everything? Because I think that adjusts people's party start times too, not to make it about a party, but. Cantor, see, I think
You're on mute,
you're-
Cantor.
Sorry. No, that's a good question, and it does affect the honors. I'd say, I would say an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. But I also want to say that does a lot depend on how long you as the parent speak. I mean, I'm just saying that also is just a factor, because I have parents that speak for, 5 minutes in total. Then there's parents that speak for 25 minutes. So
right, and siblings, and also how many
and
aliyot
siblings and aliyot. The more aliyot and the more people coming up and down, all that also comes into play. Yeah.
And typically, how long in more normal times? Typically, how, I don't remember. It's terrible. I know I've already had two, but
I mean, I think the Havdalah is a little bit of a shorter service, which is what you have. So I think it's typically an hour and a half to an hour and 45. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference without the Hakafa. It might be an extra, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? I mean, I'm not sure. They've been ending somewhere, if it starts at 4:30, it's ending around 6 or so. 6:15 at the layest. I mean, we just had a Saturday morning one that was 2 hours long, and she did 3 aliyot. It just happened to be, and there was no hakafa, but for some reason I don't know, it just took longer. There were 2 siblings and 2 parents who spoke. I don't know if that helps or not. I'd say the minimum is an hour and a half, minimum.
It helps a lot. Thank you. Can I, not to dominate, can I ask you a question, Jeff? Actually, thanks. So we're looking at the positivity rate. We're not looking at hospitalization rate or how sick people are, right? So even if it becomes it's mild, it doesn't matter.
Yes. Yeah. The positivity rate is an objective measure. I've also heard that many people aren't being tested in a reportable way. People are testing at home, and if they're positive, they're not reporting it on a rapid test because they know they're positive. So we just have to have something objective to measure, and that's what we base the standards on.
Jeff, can you hear me?
Yep.
So here's another issue. As a matter, so 3 weeks ago, I actually did have COVID, and I tested positive for about 10 days on a rapid test. And we did testing through the city, and the city actually called us, the medical community called us and said, listen, after 10 days, whether you test positive or negative, you're free to do whatever you want. You can go to work, you can go to the arena, you can do everything. And one of the reasons they're saying that is that people are testing positive on a PCR test for months without being contagious. So, if someone comes into a situation like that,
Yeah.
am
So
I-
there's a third or that I didn't mention because to me it's confusing. So if you have a positive test, from between 14 and 90 days ago, that works as well. So you either provide a proof of vaccination, a negative test within 72 hours, or a positive test between 14 and 90 days ago.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we understand, I don't understand the science, but I do know that's been an issue before. So yeah, we're trying to work around that as well.
Okay. So we can actually let people know in those situations that if you come with a positive test, make sure yours 14 to 90 day positive test.
Exactly. I mean, it's a lot of math we're gonna have to do outside. But
Yeah, no, of course.
we'll be there to
understand.
help you guys out as much as possible.
Appreciate it.
Victoria.
I have another question. We have a 1-year-old in our family. It's a sibling of who is going to be Bob Itzford. It's our younger son. And he will be present, but he's obviously not able to wear a mask. He is not vaccinated and he probably will not be tested. Is that okay? Is there an age requirement is it 5 years old older, 2 years old older that you're going to need negative PCR for unvaccinated?
It's a great question. Probably, I would feel comfortable telling you in front of Cantor that please bring your 1-year-old child to the service. We test here at school, any age. And I haven't seen anybody under 2 be tested, to be honest with you. And we do not require masks for children under 3 years old. That's a Temple-wide policy.
Charlene is asking, did we already answer that? The kiddish?
Yes,
I think we did. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, you're welcome to do something outside, as we talked about, but that's up to you. We don't currently have kiddishes inside at this moment, nor do most temples at the moment. Anything else? I hope this was helpful to you. I know it's difficult, challenging times, but somehow it always works out and it's been beautiful. And really, I think people have overall been very happy. And I think we're all being creative and marking this moment in ways that we didn't ever expect. So I hope if I can be of any help personally, I'm here for you as well. Please. I'm really good, responding. I'm quick with email. You can call me. I can set up a time with you, whatever you need. I know I've spoken to a lot of you already personally, but we just thought it would be better to be, in this kind of format to answer anything. But please don't hesitate. And I, as Jeff said, I think the protocols could change by the time you guys come around again, and we're just going to keep sending them out to you. So please look at our emails. Okay. Any other? Yeah. Well, nice to see your faces. All right. Thank you so much. Tell your kids to study. Make them study, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a recording of that just to play for them?
Yes, you better study. Cantor Siegel says you better or else.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
you.
Thank
Take
you
care,
very much,
everybody.
Cantor.
Thanks so much for your time. Of course. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.